Welcome to another episode of Owens Garage, and this week is a bit of a new one because we're not actually in the workshop anymore. We're down in Plymouth on the boat, and we've done all the electrics, so it's all done now, and I'll stop impersonating someone and let's have a look round. Right then, so new panel. If I just get the camera set up there, it's all much neater than it was, all very simple. If I just get that light aimed up so you can see what's going on, I can just quickly show you what's what. So we have isolators, 2 of, and a bank of switches, bilge pump switch, solar panel thing, and a little double socket USB for charging phones and cameras and things like that. That's actually on at the moment. Let's turn everything off for a second. So yes, the big one here is 100% just for the engine side of things, and the little one here does everything else. So normal operation, let's get that light to stay where it should. We have position 1, 2, both, and off. So normal operation, engine runs on position 1, and if the engine battery is flat, we roll it round to number 2 and try starting the engine on the leisure battery. And if the leisure battery is flat as well, we combine them on both, and then hopefully that between them linked together, you should be able to start the engine and be able to start charging some power and get to wherever you need to go. So that's the engine, and then everything else on the boat is controlled by this isolator. Little green on, little red off. So power that on, and then everything that's wired into the boat is then live. I might just mention at this point that the bilge pump has its own fuse and is not reliant on this isolator to be on. So we put that everything's off right now. However, the bilge pump is still wired into the batteries, which is what you want, so that you don't accidentally have to, leave that on and accidentally leave a light on somewhere and drain the battery. So this is the only thing there. So it has its little fuse. You have 3 positions: auto, off, or manual. And while we're on the switchboard here, we've got obviously 2 lots of 4 switches. The boat is all completely wired up, and currently we are only using 4 of them. We've got instruments, cabin lights, navigation lamps, and steaming lights. And then all the other ones that are blank are spares. And down is on, up is off. So under here there is a big leisure battery that's all been wired in with proper nice chunky cable. There's the big leisure battery. So that is battery number 2, just for reference. But yeah, we've got proper 25mm cable there wired into the battery and over to the engine, and for charging as well. And that is battery number 1. Same thing, new battery posts, new cable, all of that. Pop those back in place so I can continue the tour. Right, speaking of bilge pump, we've got a brand new bilge pump. The other one died a very sad death, ingesting all the sort of general crap that ends up in the bilges from dirty shoes and things like that. So the water in the bilge was obviously just full of mud. The bilge pump obviously can get lifted out, so that's the actual pump, and there's the little strainer. So it's all nice and clean in there at the moment, but yeah, it's worth just keeping an eye on that. So yeah, brand new bilge pump. This one's quite thirsty. It likes to gulp 500 litres a minute, or mouthfuls a minute, whatever you like to say. So yeah, same as the other one, very capable. It's got a little test wheel on the side here. Check the float's working, that's working, I'm sure you can hear that. Or if I go over here and rock the switch over to manual, light comes on, bilge pump is pumping. So that's just a momentary push switch, and obviously the auto is a latch, and then when it senses the water it'll start doing its gulping. Yeah, stainless steel Jubilee clips everywhere, all that nasty old stuff is gone. Okay, engine side of things, let's get a light on the case. Here's the busy but very nice and orderly back side of the electrics. Under the lid here I've got the little bit of information telling you what fuses do what. So here, this box here, position 1 to 10, is the fuse box, which is referring to that there. So there's your 10 fuses. Everything can get wired into there. Again, it's only been occupied by 3, 4, 5, 6 positions out of 10 are being used, so you've got 4 spares there. And what's nice about this little fuse box is when a circuit blows, a little red light turns on. So you can just lift this cover off and very quickly tell if a circuit is blown. It's one of those little red LEDs will light up and let you know that the circuit's faulty. And then you can change the fuse, well, fix the circuit and change the fuse accordingly. And then so that's what this box is referring to. So position 1 to 10, what the functions are in the circuit and how big the fuses are to replace. Excuse my disgusting dirty fingers. Next box, inline fuses. There's only 2 of those. There's an engine one down there you can't see, and there is a bilge pump one that's built into that little barrel there. So those are the 2 barrel fuses. And then just a note about, you know, like I said at the beginning of the video, battery 1 is engine primary power source, and the battery 2 is the leisure. And yes, that was just explaining, like I said earlier, the positions on the engine isolator, and the bottom isolator is just obviously an on-off. And then the bilge pump. So yeah, that's all been talked about. Yeah, so this is the back side of the panel. It's all very nice and neat. No inline fuses hanging off and awful wrong coloured wiring and wrong thickness cabling. You can see the size of the cable is much thicker and actually charge the engine as it's supposed to and all the rest of it. So yeah, very happy with that. There's quite a lot going on here. Got down there's a brand new split charge relay, which basically means that the engine can now charge up both batteries rather than just one when it feels the current. Yeah, it's all very, very clever basically. To the 2 batteries aren't linked unless you need them to be linked to start it as shown, but that little device down there manages to link them in a charging capacity but not in a draining capacity, which is quite good, so you can't run out of juice. This here is a little bus bar, it's called, which is just a neutral point for all the terminals. This is the back side of all those switches, and yeah, it's all very easy to understand what's going on when you sort of need to service it and whatever. All the old wiring has been ripped out, new conduit trunking, taking things where they need to go. So let's try some things out. Power on the leisure, engine one off obviously. So instruments on, there's a little beep that's coming from in there, which basically tells us that everything's on, working as it's supposed to. So yeah, that's working nicely. VHF is working. I don't really know how to sort out the squelch. There's some way of figuring out the squelch, but I can't remember. Anyway, the VHF has obviously got its own speaker here, and the speaker in the cockpit has that little speaker cable that you can just untwizzle and plug into the back of the VHF. The VHF has now been moved forward, so we can, you know, you can get all the cables in the back and actually get to it and all the rest of it. So yeah, when the instruments are turned on, all of them turn on, obviously. So you know that makes life easy. Instruments being Raymarine, VHF, depth sounder, sorry, speed sensor, wind. That does light up, but it's very dark backlight, so you can't really see it. But yeah, the wind's working, new display's working, you know, meters reading out, all the rest of it. So those things are working as they're supposed to. Yeah, engine dash is working as well. Let's get to that in a moment. Alright, what else have we got? Cabin lights. Well, they're all working. So all the cabin lights are now turned on. Well, the circuit's turned on by one switch rather than two. So then, you know, you can turn each cabin light on and off on the 12 volt side of things as you need to. Same in the forward cabin. Yeah. That's all good. And the bathroom, can't get in there just now. And in the galley, that one. So cabin lights are all good. What else do we have here? Steaming lights on, navigation lamps on. Let's go and check those. Stern working. Steaming light working. And navigation working. So there. That's all concluded really. Solar panels plugged in, doing its thing as it's supposed to. Yeah, cockpit and the deck needs a bit of a clean. Everything needs a bit of a clean really. Got some muddy boots going on and general scuzz. But there we go. All the old wiring taken out. New wiring put in properly. And there's a little bag here of spare fuses, barrel and blades type, for when they blow. And just complete the tour by turning the engine on, open the water, what have I forgotten? Yes, I've obviously left the isolator off, so roll it round to position 1. There we go. Probably have more luck with that. Powered up. Great. So we've got a light there. It's a shame this is so frosty, you can't really see what light does what, but one of them is an oil, low oil pressure, and the other one is a charge light, and the third one that's off is a water over temperature. So let's just stick that in neutral and crank it over. So that's good. Both lights have gone out, which means the engine is already charging, and we tested that as well with a multimeter to see if it was actually producing current, and yeah, alternator's working fine, just as it should. So yeah, with the engine on, if any of those lights come on, you know you've got a problem now. We know they all work. Impeller's still got some life in it, good. Mechanical fuel pump stop. And that really concludes the end of this episode. It's been a good one. Spent all of Monday on it with James. That was a good 10-hour day together. All of last night and then all of today until now. But it is done. And that's very exciting. I'm really pleased. One of the nicest things was taking out all of the stuff that wasn't needed, you know, the antenna on the stern there, which is all part of the junk that was connected to the old displays, but they're all obviously gone now. We've even got things like the compass light wired in. I don't know how much of this stuff was working before, but it's nice to see it all working now and done properly. It's not about to all come loose and fall to bits. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have, please keep watching, please keep subscribing, and more videos come along very soon.